Hopefully Chris will be wandering in here pretty quick, I hope. What we're gonna do is go through the special ed meeting. We'll go through the one resolution we have. I hope everybody got a copy. I sent it out I believe last week. So everybody had plenty of time to look at it and plenty of time to ask questions. I know Trish had some. And I know Jim had some. Jim?
You want to do roll call?
Yeah, just let me, hey, Jim, you on there, Jim?
There's his face.
Yeah, we can see them.
Lydia, can you hear us?
I can hear you fine. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Jim, can you hear us? No,
No, he's moving his lips,
you might
but
be able to hear us, but we can't hear him. Okay, that's all right. We can continue. All right, pledge allegiance, please.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on, let's do roll call. I'm sorry, I apologize. Because we are missing at least two. But we need to make sure we got them.
Jim Basile,
Present?
Andy Dennison,
Present.
Lydia Patty Ruffini,
Here.
Chris Petrus, Aileen McNabb Coleman. Present. Bob Shay.
Here.
Hans Petcher,
here,
Mark Strong,
Here.
Heidi Nightingale is excused, Elaine Daly,
Here.
Tricia Kerr,
Here.
Christina Clarko,
Here.
Michael Didio,
Here.
Brian Muldrow,
Here.
Dave Gould.
Here. Okay, stand for the pledge, please, and I'm moving to silence after. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under
God, indivisible. with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll start right in with the resolution. Has everybody got one? Got it in front of them, and they read it over? Have you had time to ask questions and look it over? All right, can I have a motion? It's Ledge one. Second? Anybody? Mike, did you? Any discussion on ledge one? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
What was that? Oh, that was Jim. Any opposed? Okay, passed. See you later. Can I have a motion for the meeting to be adjourned? Second, all in favor? Andy, it's up to you if you want to start early. I don't know who you got here, but it's up to you.
I don't think I got people here yet.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for that half-minute meeting.
I asked why we didn't do this.
Will this be the same Zoom for the next meeting?
Number?
I handled it really well, didn't I?
Jim, yes, it would be the same.
Thanks, Steve.
I got it wrong, but I-
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Jim was asking if the Zoom link is going to be the same for the next two sessions. I said I believed that it was.
It will be, yes.
Here.
Thanks.
You'd have to ask one of the lawyers if you can legally do it.
On that fast, you want to have her more often?
Be up here.
I think she did it.
A little uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit. Not bad.
I'm not sure where we. I think we go out a different way. I'm not sure. But we were supposed to come in the other way. Let's go down.
Lights are automatic, right?
Yeah.
Tries to get real dry while they had you holding them open and stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad you don't have to till tomorrow. That was our original plan, but I messed up and made this appointment for today. I didn't realize it until after I got home. But I didn't want to mess all of this up. So I called her. I do have another appointment. I have to go get a physical.
Go in the room. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't see Carl, but he doesn't always come and have anything to say anyhow, but if he does show up, we'll go back to him. So Kyle, do you have anything besides your report?
No, everything is in the report.
Okay, has anybody got anything for Kyle? Okay, Gary.
You have my report. The only thing I was gonna add, on item 1 about the county office building, the agreement has been signed and the kickoff meeting's tomorrow. Other than that, everything's Feel pretty much up to date. If you got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
We got anything for Gary? You have no resolutions neither. All right,
Meeting adjourned.
moving on, Doug.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I looked through the report. I haven't had any changes since this was submitted. Need more information, so I guess I'll just ask if there's any questions on what's here or something else. Anything else? Yeah.
The amphitheater funding, can you just elaborate on that? Check where we are with the funding on that.
Specifically for the project, there isn't any that's earmarked directly for the project.
Oh, okay.
There was money set aside from ARPA for the Doval Island redevelopment, but none of it was, the only thing we put together was a CFA application that was directly targeted toward that, but we didn't get the CFA. So that, it doesn't have any legs to move up the CFA. So designed to do funding pilot project for it. Now, that being said, we have started to work with Wilson Butler Architects. They're gonna actually do the design for us, so we have a construction documents for the amphitheater itself. The CFA was really focused on all the site improvements, so the and the water, light, power, infrastructure to it, the roadways, the pathways, and everything before you build above the ground. That's what the CFA was really focused on. But we didn't have that piece for the actual amphitheater. So we're starting on the process of doing the design with them. We're looking to fund the design for them, so we know what we're gonna build. Get some sponsorship for that side.
Okay,
But as far as what the ARPA money was put aside was for the redevelopment of Doval Island.
so potentially could go into amphitheater.
It would be up to the legislature, but any of the, yeah, that funding is for any of the redevelopment projects that happen. Probably whatever comes first will win, if you will, right? So whatever is designed first.
Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things, Doug. I hear the Easter egg hunt was a great success.
There was, we filled all of our surface parking at the main lot
That's what I heard.
by the Merry-Go-Round Theater, so yep.
That was great. Thank you. Are we going to be able to have enough applicants for lifeguards?
We actually have gotten a few. We actually have gotten, I think we have maybe four, which is four more than we had last year.
Yeah.
And had a few more phone calls and just, so I'm
Great.
I'm hoping we'll be able to open at least a limited schedule, if not a full schedule.
Great.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
The amphitheater design and all of that, can that happen without the infrastructure stuff that also was supposed to happen?
Sure. And in fact, they do work together, right? So in other words, we were really focused on getting so that a sponsor could come in and plop a building on the site and leave a footprint for it. But they could be designed together. They could, and the design could go hand in hand together. So yeah, so we just don't have any hard numbers for the actual, we don't know what to ask for funding for the amphitheater as far as going out and searching for sponsors for it. That is the most sponsorable of those projects. It's above the ground. They generally speaking have someone's name on them. So that's why we're engaging on that side to get a design that would be approved, through the Parks Commission and then by the legislature to say, this is what it looks like, and then match that project with a sponsor. That would be the ultimate goal.
So you can have an amphitheater without having the water and sewer and the other infrastructure that you were hoping this grant? I mean, if you never got the funding for the infrastructure stuff,
Right.
could you still put an amphitheater up?
You would still need some infrastructure there. You would still need to do some. What we were looking was to build out all the pathways around it, walkways, lighting, all those things. So you would still have to do some access to it, but you could probably phase some of the elements that are, as you get further out from the amphitheater itself, that could be phased. Could be. And on what things cost and funding. And we had numbers from 2019.
And that million set aside could be used for, as you said, whatever potentially looks like would be the next project coming forward.
Correct. As that resolution was written, it was just redevelopment of Doval Island.
The Elaine Daily Amphitheater sounds really good.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking that. Yeah.
All right, you want to do your resolution? You got one?
Yeah, I do have one. It was to fill a museum aide position because of a vacancy. We had an individual who took another job. And so as these positions run, they're part-time positions, they're year-round part-time positions. So we would have to have authorization to refill that position because of a vacancy.
Can I have a motion?
Move it, Mark.
Second.
Questions? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Brian.
My report was so exciting, it didn't even make the agenda.
Saw that, but I figured you might have something to say.
It was submitted, but it didn't make the agenda. I was printed off, so I brought a copy. Hit the high points. One Haven slope failure project. We started on the 3rd. It actually, the main wall was finished today, so we should have that open by the weekend. Glen Haven Road will be reopened. And all we'll have left is a guardrail replacement. That's with the help of soil and water as well. Our stone hauling, I just wanted to point out in my report that we were able to haul the bulk of our stone before the April 1st increases, which saved us $170,000. The average cost per ton was $3 increase in April 1st. So next year is going to cost us a little bit more. Wise. Howland's Island Road, that failing culvert on that is scheduled for the 19th of this month. I'm working with the city to get the water levels dropped in the outlet so we can make it happen. The DEC was gracious enough to let us do that. They gave us an emergency permit. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the fact that we're short 7 MEOs right at the moment. And I was talking with Mark earlier about this. That's going to cause you guys a lot of phone calls because we're going to have to start closing roads to work because we don't have enough people to flag. So I'm sure you'll be getting calls from your constituents about road closures. As soon as we get the jobs done, we'll open them back up, but there will be delays. The good news on that side is I was able to hire our general foreman, general highway supervisor. Some of you guys might know him, Bruce Nodine. He's currently the highway superintendent in the town of Sopronius, but we'll start on May 1st for us. And our paving schedule is set to start on the 26th of April. We also had a snowplow contract meeting on Monday that went extremely well, I think. I think it's going to be a shorter negotiation this time than it was a year ago. Everybody's reasonably happy with what we had in that contract. It was for a year. So that's about it. Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Did you get any feedback from I know there was a few that did not go with the contract.
There was one.
Any feedback with them or?
I've not heard anything from them.
Okay. About going forward with another.
With going, yes, no.
Okay.
We've had one town that has expressed interest in getting out of it, no matter what, that's the town of Cayuga.
Thanks.
Brian, do you have a mechanism when you close these roads to let the public know? How do you do that?
We put up road closed ahead signs.
No, I mean, prior to that, and
No,
anything in the media that would say that,
no,
nothing?
that would be next to impossible.
The only thing I would say is, I know over the
We do alert fire control.
fire control notifies the county fire departments and the sheriff's and the state offices of the road,
Talking about the public.
and that's daily. But they'd have to be a fireman to know that.
Okay.
And the schools, the districts and the bus routes, like, we've been through that before, the county with road closures.
If they get alerts from fire control, they would be alerted.
That's what I mean. I think that's how they get some alerts.
Yes.
I know.
And those would be for no traffic. So these type of road closures, emergency traffic would be able to get through.
Okay.
This is where we would normally run flaggers, but like I said, we just don't have the manpower to have that set up anymore right at the moment.
Because the reality is, the only way we could do it, I mean, if you knew the exact day you were doing it, we'd have to contact B3, 5, and 9 and the local radio and ask them to.
And we're talking about road closures that are only going to be 2 hours at a time.
Exactly.
Or at the longest a day, that during the shift. So 8 hours, 8, 9 hours would be the longest period, and then they'd be open back up.
That makes sense.
All right, you got resolutions.
Yes, all my resolutions are to fill budgeted vacancies that are due to retirements. You want me to go for each one or?
So does anybody want to
I make a
offer them
motion.
as a bundle?
I would offer them as a bundle if they're all the same.
Okay, so second Hans. Anybody have any questions or discussion on 1 through 4? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, you got anything else for us, Brian? Mark?
Oh, nice try.
Oh, okay, let's do that again. 'Cause Mark can't offer it as a bundle.
I'll offer it as a bundle.
All right, Christina did. We'll stick with Hans's second. Let's try that again. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Anything else, Brian?
I'm good.
All right, anything, anybody got anything else for Brian?
Were we,
I don't
good? Were we good on that first resolution?
Yes, because I don't think he firsted that.
No, he moved it.
He moved that one too?
Yeah.
Hey, shut the hell up. Which one was that? The parks one?
That was, yes.
Okay, we're going back to parks now.
PL 5.
Christina's moving PL5. Can I have a second?
Thank you, Christine.
Second video. All right, I'm not even gonna ask, there's discussion because we did this once. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All
Oh, God.
right,
I'm sorry, Andy. I apologize.
can I have a motion to adjourn then?
I'll move that.
All right, can I have a second other than Mark? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
At least I caught my mistake.
Recovered nicely.
Yes.
Hey, Mark,
Yes, sir.
you just if Lydia and Jim are still on, I can ask, but it's your meeting.
I think they left.
I think they left.
Okay, then, I mean, they're on your committee, but
No, neither one of them.
but they wanted, I wanted to stay on, but okay.
I think Lydia left.
Okay, get the judicial and public safety for April 2023 in motion. Start off with a pledged flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, roll call. I have everyone here with the exception of Heidi Nightingale. She has been excused for the evening. So with that, we'll move right along. Minutes to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Anybody have any discussions or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Next up would be, and I have no appointments. Next on the docket would be Denise Spingler with 911. And before she gets wound up, I'll say today is, or this week, is National Telecommunications Week and basically the 911 folks. So if you get an opportunity to meet one of those folks, please thank them for all that they do. I would personally like to thank everything that they do. It's a tough job and they're well appreciated. Thank you. Please pass that along.
Well, I just gave my full report, so I guess I'm good.
According to this, we need to give them prizes and food.
No.
That part you'll have to ask the boss.
So yes, like Mark said, this is National Telecommunicators Week. So this is a week that's kind of out there to honor dispatchers. We have a lot of vendor participation. It's amazing what the vendors do for our staff during this week. They bring in a lot of food, we do prizes, we do games. It's grown every year. This year we've got, you watch our Facebook page, they did, I'm not mad that I was off on Sunday. They did dirt bag day and they all dress up for Super Dirt Week. It was wicked. For me, my takeaway wasn't just the costumes. It was a group of extremely different personalities working together. It was awesome. And they did things like today we did crazy sock day. Sorry, I took them off for a game. Couldn't do it. But they're having a ton of fun. They really are. A lot of teamwork going on, a lot of fun stuff. They really are having fun this week, and we're really trying to honor them and kind of highlight the good that they do. This is a week we also honor our telecommunicator of the year. We haven't done that yet because she may be on vacation, but we will do that, and I'll get that out to the group as well once we do that announcement. So staffing, we have 2 vacancies right now. We did have a retirement last month. So I'm waiting for the new list because unfortunately we only have one person that responded to our last canvas. I anticipate maybe end of May, June, getting the names, and that may be aggressive right now. It may be probably July even, because civil service on the state level, it's not real fast. As far as a training update, I did talk about this, I think last month. We have an active shooter course coming up this summer. We also have a leadership training. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the department heads went through a leadership training over the course of the last couple of months. And the woman who handled that training is also going to provide training to my leadership staff. There were a lot of takeaways from that training. I was extremely impressed from it. So I did have a talk with her kind of about the things that we could use for our staff, because I really want to cultivate a better work environment, and I really want my supervisors to be trained to be supervisors. Just taking a test and passing it doesn't make them necessarily qualified from a supervisory perspective. So I'm really trying to facilitate and push training this year. So I reached out to a couple of our surrounding agencies as well and offered that training. So we're going to have a kind of a whole group for that. I'm pretty excited for that. And that'll be next Wednesday is that training. As far as the communication system goes, we finished our site cleanup that happened over the last couple of months. And then we have a full system refresh coming at the end of August. And that is where they look at the core in Onondaga County. There's a lot of upgrades that are done there and a lot of software things that happen on each site and and each center attached to that core. One other thing that is in the works that's not on this is I've been working with Shereen on the COX grant. That's the award from Catco's office that was granted to Cayuga County for subscribers for our responders. So we received $1 million. So now we're just going through the process of applying for that grant. It's really been a lot of fun. I'm sure you probably can agree. Anything?
Is it the radios?
Yeah, so this will be for the subscribers for all of our responders. Yep. And I've gotten some preliminary costs from Motorola. So I think we'll be in good hands with that in respect to getting a fair amount of radios for the departments. Questions? Everybody's welcome to stop in for Telecommunicators Week. Can't guarantee what you'll see when you come in, but it's really been a lot of fun there.
You gotta tell us what each day is so we can.
Yeah.
participate.
So tomorrow is dress up in your favorite holiday attire.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
I'm in it.
Yes.
No pictures allowed.
I think Thursday is favorite color day. Friday's black and gold, because dispatch is known as the thin gold line. We're doing black and gold for Friday. And Saturday is tie-dye day.
Could do Friday. I'm a Steelers fan.
There you
I
go.
gotta get a hold of you. I'll give it a hold of you.
All right. Anybody else have anything for Denise? Thank you, Denise.
Great job.
Next up on the list is assigned counsel. I believe we have a stand-in tonight, Attorney John Price.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, everything's in our report here. 59 arraignments, centralized arraignment plans. I think a total of 67 between city, town, and court arraignments. Cost of those a little shy of 20,000, all coming out of the grant from Indigent Legal Services. Other than that, I just wanted to know, I think last time I was here, we were discussing the plan to present a plan for a new software system for our attorneys for case management billing. We're running a little behind on that right now, but hopefully the next time we meet, we'll have a resolution on that.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. John Price?
Chair.
John, thank you. Oh,
John, I know you weren't here last year, but does Lloyd keep track of from year to year, the stats? Do you know?
Yeah, I certainly couldn't tell you off the top of my head whether this is up or down.
Could you just ask him when he gets back to send us the legislature, the comparison between last year and this year? Appreciate it. Thank you.
anybody else have any questions for Mr. Price? Thank you, John. Next up would be Dr. Duckett. He has no updates. Next up after that, Ms. Brittany Antonacci, attorney.
Good evening, everyone. We've been extremely busy. We just had a felony trial last week where we got a guilty verdict. It was one of our newer ADAs. It was his first felony trial. So that was great on his end. He also was asked by the New York State Prosecutors Training Institute to teach at our summer courses for DA's offices across the state as an example of a younger, newer prosecutor. So I'm very excited that he's going to be representing smaller DA's offices in that respect. We did have a retirement. One of our senior ADAs just retired after 33 years. So we do have a vacancy. She was wonderful and we appreciate her service over those 33 years. She's been a fixture in this DA's office. We do have a vacancy. That is my resolution to fill, authorization to fill that vacancy. And I do want to introduce our new deputy chief. She's been with us for a couple months. This is Susan Azarelli. I'll have her introduce herself. Yeah, she comes to us from Onondaga County, and she's been a wonderful addition to our office.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, most certainly welcome. Brittany, if you want to go ahead and take care of your resolution right now.
Sure, it's just authorization to fill that senior assistant district attorney position.
Move it.
I'll second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on JP1? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Chair, I got one.
Yes, sir.
Because of the removing the solitary confinement, from the state, have the prisons been many more cases than the prisons? They have to be, right?
So we've been getting more assaults on inmate on inmate assaults and inmate on staff assaults. So we are prioritizing any assaults that happen in the prison. So we are reviewing those. We get those cases from the state police after they've conducted their investigation. We review them. We're prioritizing those at this point because in some regard, that's the only deterrent that we have at this moment. And so anyone who commits an assault in a correctional facility is facing consecutive time. So that's what we're prioritizing at this point.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not making a statement about halt, but not even before halt, you would prosecute those cases
Of
as
course
well?
we would, yes, if it warrants it, if the facts warrant it, and we review the case and we believe that criminal charges are appropriate, yes.
So you're seeing an uptick in that?
We've been seeing more assaults on correctional staff, yes. Inmate on inmate assaults are pretty consistent across the board.
Thank you.
Okay, next up would be Riley. Riley's on vacay, so you get me instead. Riley submitted his report. There's two things that I will bring up. The Public Safety Training Center improvements, the Bergman and Associates are in the process of providing a quote for the schematic designs following adopted resolution number 97-23 that authorizes the county to use them for the projects needed in architectural and engineering design. The other one would be, they had an initial action planning for the July 4th fireworks at Emerson Park. That took place with the parks officials, the emergency services office, and a Wasco Fire Department. So that's well underway. Other than that, he has everything else listed in the report. Has anybody got any questions about anything on the report? Okay, moving along. Next up would be probation, and we have Supervisor John Madden on the computer. Oh, we can't hear you, John. Gotta unmute.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
There are no resolutions. JD indicated that they're working on funding for alternatives to incarceration board for 2023 to 24. When that's completed, they'll submit it to the committee. We did note that we're trying to move paperless. We've done so with county courts, the DA, and now we're trying to, in city court, now we're trying to work, do that with justice courts, which it will take some time. We do have a new officer at the IID monitor position, Mike Farrell. He started and he's seems to be doing okay with that so far. And other than that, nothing else.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. John Madden? Hearing none. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Next up would be the sheriff, Brian Skank. Brian, I believe you're on.
I am. Good evening. Sorry, I'm not there in person. I had a late afternoon appointment go a little long, so I barely made it here, but I'm glad to be here. You have my report. I don't have anything in addition to that. Happy to answer any questions relative to my report or dive into the resolutions.
I don't see any, sir. Go right ahead with your resolutions.
Okay, so the resolutions, JP2 is authorize the chair and I to contract with Offender Watch to provide a digital platform for sex offender management. This would be an updated digital platform that would allow people in our community to download the Offender Watch app to be able to search sex offenders in our community to see where they actually live, level 2s and level 3s, to map those out and to help us be a little bit more efficient in tracking those. You are able to go on to the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services website to search them out, but it doesn't plot where they are. You have to go in and click on them individually. It's very difficult and cumbersome to really track them. So it would be a way to help our community be able to track them better and know where they are in their individual communities.
Okay, I need a motion.
Move it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on JP2? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. JP3, sir.
JP3, we've talked about this at the last, I believe, last two public safety meetings, but this is a resolution to authorize the chair and I to enter into an agreement with Rapiscan to purchase a metal detector and a bag scanner for the county office building, as well as a 5-year maintenance agreement. I can break down what some of the costs are. I don't have that broken down on the resolution, but if anybody's interested, I can do that.
Okay, I need a motion.
Move it.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on JP3?
Is the only thing.
Mark,
Oh. Where am I hearing that?
I think it's, is it Jim?
yes.
Yeah. Hi, Jim.
Thank you. Sorry if I walked on somebody. Just, I want to, I did go over to the courthouse and look at their system and what was set up. And, we've talked about some of the things that have happened within our own county office building. So I would hope that everybody would strongly support this.
Thank you, Jim.
And the only thing I just wanted to clarify, Sheriff, is you had said that any investments we make in this can certainly be moved. Or, it's not like tied to this building. It would be not a waste. Is that sort of the case?
That's correct. I did discuss that with the sales representative. I mentioned the fact that we would likely be either updating our county office building or potentially moving, but we can certainly repurpose this equipment to a new building or another place within the building, or move it if we're updating the lobby and bring it back. So we can absolutely do that.
Great, thank you.
Hey, any other discussion or questions for JP3? Yep, go ahead.
I'm glad, Sheriff, I'm glad we're finally doing this. I think that it's been a long time since our building, that we've really done a secure job in letting people in and out of our building. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I'm okay with this. Is great.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on JP3 or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Anybody else have anything for the sheriff while he's on? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion and second, carried. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Set records.
Everybody.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jim.
Human Services goes this way.
Yeah.